Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Guys, look at the weekly candlestick for XRP. Pretty much pinpointing that level of support that we needed to stay above. Of course, we are now firmly into the week. Today is Friday, September the 5th. If you guys are watching this video on the day that I'm recording it. So we did dip down. Of course, there was a wick down further below this level of support in around $2.72. So that was the furthest level we went back down in early August. But guys, we did bounce back up. That was that transitory candlestick. We did see a lot of volume for XRP on the following day, September the 2nd. And now we just kind of been hovering in and around this area here. When we match that with what has been going on with Bitcoin, guys, you guys can see Bitcoin has been retracing. Currently, one Bitcoin is going for about $112,000. So Bitcoin did also come back down into this level of support that we saw back in early July before it made that first new all-time high. And the summer has been a little up and down. Luckily, now we are forming what is looking like an inverted head and shoulders pattern in and around here for Bitcoin. And hopefully, guys, we can get up above that shoulder line. So we are just formulating that right now. And as I said, Bitcoin trading for about $112,000 per coin. If we take a look at just the pure numbers, we are only about 10, 11% from all-time high. So, it's this next push to the upside, the euphoric phase. I think this is what everybody's waiting for in the moment. Fear and greed is still sitting at neutral. This is also a good sign, guys. We're not seeing any kind of... the balance isn't out of whack. If the balance was out of whack and we were bearish, we would know it. We would certainly know it. We would feel the pain. We would be seeing the market moving down. This is a sideways trend for the immediate time frame. I mean, overall, guys, we're bullish. But really, these are signs that point to that. So 41 still in neutral territory. Altcoin season really hasn't popped off. We haven't seen market cap move much at all. So these are single digit moves for the entire crypto market. And when we do look at, how these coins have performed within the last 24 hours, you guys can see it's still more of the same. Very boring right now, but I'll take boring over bearish any day. And for more information on where I think the market's going to go, you can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. You probably know what that's all about by now. Basically, my market insight where I'm projecting XRP will go next and, the targets that I'm going to be selling my XRP out at. The one thing I'm not doing is round tripping my cryptocurrency this time around. So patreon.com/workingmoneychannel if you're interested in following what I'm doing. It is only $5 a month, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock into that subscription price. It's a bit of a waiting game at this time. I'm not going to lie. It's a waiting game. But when the market does move, we are going to feel it and we are going to have to make big moves in that moment. So Bitcoin reaching all-time high. That is another, I guess, the first step. We are pushing and, hopefully a lot of these altcoins are going to move along with Bitcoin once we do see that here. Let's just take a look at Bitcoin dominance for a second. And just kind of gauge where we are in terms of Bitcoin dominance. So we have been seeing Bitcoin moving back up slightly. A bit of a retrace probably before another big push to the downside is what I'm assuming. Are we going to get into this 41% territory in and around here? I don't know. It's a good question. That is the yellow zone that has determined, the height of the altcoin cycle in the past. But, we don't know if we're going to get down this far this time around. The market is more mature. It's actually matured so much that, now we're paying attention to these types of metrics. Chad Steingraber pointing this out. The CME is the third largest XRP open interest at over 1.3 billion. 1.03 billion. Now, he originally retweeted out Brad Garlinghouse's tweet here, who tweeted this out yesterday. Per the CME Group data, XRP futures contracts were the fastest ever, just over 3 months, to hit $1 billion in open interest. And so this is not the first time the CME Group has posted about this. They say August was hot, but the crypto space was hotter. So we did see a record 36 billion in open interest for crypto futures in general and options on August the 22nd. 1,006 large open interest holders, XRP, Solana, and Micro Ether futures open interest hit all-time highs. Institutional activity is broadening beyond just Bitcoin. As the market develops, the data is evolving. So guys, these are some milestones that we did just hit at the end of August, and it is only the beginning of September right now. So, this speaks, I think, to where the macro market is, not just for XRP, even though XRP is doing phenomenally. XRP, Solana, micro Ethereum holders, institutional activity is getting more and more excited about cryptocurrencies and digital assets, not just focusing their efforts on Bitcoin. Guys, this is a great trajectory, a far cry from what we were seeing only a few short years ago. Michael Branch posting this to remind us what kind of hell we were living in back in 2022 and 2023. Gary Gensler's text messages between October 18th, 22 and September 6th, 23 are now lost. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. SEC watchdog blames tech failures for loss of Gary Gensler's text in 2023. Nearly a year of former Chair Gensler's government texts were erased after a chain of avoidable IT decisions, the OIG said on Wednesday. How convenient is this? Okay, the SEC lost nearly a year of text messages from former Chair Gary Gensler, according to a review by the agency's Office of the Inspector General released on Wednesday. The SEC's OIG is responsible for conducting audits, evaluations, and investigations into the SEC's programs and operations. On July the 6th, 2023, Gary Gensler's SEC-issued smartphone stopped syncing with the agency's device management system, even though it otherwise functioned normally and was used regularly. For the next 62 days, it appeared inactive, a status that went unnoticed by IT staff. And a month later, on August the 10th, the Office of Information Technology introduced a policy to automatically wipe any device that had not connected for 45 days, assuming it was lost or stolen. Under that rule, Gensler's phone was completely wiped. So, that is, the news that I'm bringing to you with regards to Gary Gensler's smartphone. Investigators said personnel unaware of what had occurred tried to restore the phone and instead perform a factory reset that permanently deleted nearly a year of text messages. So that is the incompetency. We're continuing to see this incompetency over there at the SEC. Wanted to thank Michael and Brad Garlinghouse, Chad Steingraber, and who else was there? No, that was Brad Garlinghouse. That's all for posting that. John Deaton here commenting on the Gary Gensler story. Gensler is the poster child of corruption in Washington, D.C. His tenure as the chair of the SEC will go down as one of the most shameful in modern history. Judges stated that the SEC under Gensler lacked faithful allegiance to the law, acted arbitrarily and capricious, and was sanctioned for perpetuating a fraud upon the court. Plus, let's face it, anyone who gets the gig to be Hillary Clinton's CFO likely has corruption in his DNA. I could not agree more, says Matthew Chip down here saying, nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing. Exactly. We are on a positive trajectory. XRP holders are looking to the future. And, even the Trump administration echoing those same sentiments. Bank XRP posting this, a new clip of Eric Trump on I think this is from a CoinDesk interview, explaining how cryptocurrencies are, essentially becoming more and more accepted in traditional finance. Listen to this.
Every single day. A year ago, Jamie Dimon was saying, we're not going to touch cryptocurrency. And now they're probably running at digital assets faster than anyone. You see what BlackRock's doing. You see, as I mentioned, what Schwab's doing. You see what nation states are doing. You see what states in this country are doing. Look what Texas just voted on, right? In their legislature, literally being able to custody Bitcoin on their balance sheets, right? So all of a sudden you've got all these cracks in the dam that are breaking. The people who get in now are the people who are getting in early. I believe that with all of my soul. And this is a global asset. This is an asset that everybody wants. This is an asset. It's probably the only asset in the world that has limited supply. There's 21 million. There will never be another one, unlike gold, unlike other commodities. And I'm just watching it from afar as for the first time, the capital markets really have access to it or getting access to it. And so I think cryptocurrency is in its infancy. And I think the trajectory of Bitcoin and of digital assets is going to be parabolic. And I really think we're going to have one of the greatest companies in the ecosystem. And that was launched obviously minutes ago.
Eric Trump talking about, the Trump's brand new crypto company, but essentially the dams are breaking. You heard it there. They're making the landscape favorable for crypto adoption. And guys, that's just going to benefit everybody. We also got some breaking news from overseas. Airwallex buys OpenPay to take on Stripe billing. So this business payment outfit, Airwallex, guys, they're one of the earlier Ripple partners. They're pitching themselves directly against Stripe billing through the acquisition of billing platform OpenPay. The financial terms, though, unfortunately, Unfortunately, we're not disclosed of this deal, but here's what we know so far. San Francisco-based OpenPay offers subscription management, payment orchestration, and revenue analytics. The firm has developed automated features like smart payment routing, AI-driven retention tools, real-time insights, and subscription management for tiered usage-based and flat-fee models. Airwallex, which was founded in Australia in 2015 and hit a $6.2 billion valuation on the back of a $300 million Series F funding round earlier this year, said that OpenPay boosts its position against the likes of Stripe Billing and Recurly, I guess another company there that they're currently up against. Most billing systems are locked in the past where they were never designed for a global multi-currency world, and that's the gap that they are closing. This coming from Jack Zhang, the CEO of Airwallex. He says by bringing OpenPay subscription management, orchestration, and analytics capabilities to Airwallex, we're creating the first truly global billing platform. So those are the details we know so far coming from Finextra. Airwallex, a Ripple partner now, looking to open up the world of billing, taking on Stripe, guys. That is a huge market there. So that's some great news. We also have Nichebucks commenting on, Ripple's strategic partnerships and the heads that are going to be presenting at Swell this year. Listen to this. You typically invite your own partners to your own conference. That, we've seen time and time again. Ripple's head of strategic partnerships hosts heads from Franklin Templeton, Fidelity, and Citi to discuss how banks will shape the future of digital assets. So, guys, here's who we already knew that Sandy Call, head of innovation from Franklin Templeton, Ryan Rugg, head of global head of digital assets and treasury trade solution at Citi, Cynthia Lobassett, head of Fidelity and digital asset management, and Pat Thalen, vice president of strategic partnerships at Ripple. So he's a Ripple employee. But other than Pat Thalen, we've got representatives from Fidelity, Citibank, and Franklin Templeton all attending Swell. Well, guys, there's some new information here that we just got. Apparently, a BlackRock executive is going to be attending Swell 2025. This courtesy of Michael Branch. This is the latest. So Ripple has confirmed that a BlackRock executive will be among the high-profile participants at this upcoming Swell 2025 conference. In particular, BlackRock's Director of Digital Assets, Maxwell Stein, has been listed as one of the featured speakers for the 2025 Swell conference. The event will take place in New York City from November 4th to November the 5th. And so that is Maxwell Stein from BlackRock. Other speakers include Ripple Chairman Chris Larson, Brad Garlinghouse, somebody from the NASDAQ, OKX. I'm not going to name them all, but for context, they say here, despite increasing institutional interest in XRP highlighted by several ETF filings, BlackRock has not yet applied. But now, does this spur on maybe some more speculation that BlackRock is eventually going to be offering an XRP product? Probably. I mean, eventually, I think it would make sense if they did. Down here, it says it remains uncertain whether BlackRock will review this stance at the Ripple Swell conference, releasing an XRP-related product. But, as Nichebucks does say in this earlier tweet, you typically invite your own partners to your own conference. So, now that we know BlackRock is going to be in attendance, and guys, it's not even just BlackRock. It is also Rory Callaghy, managing director from Moody's Investor Services. So those are two more people that are now on the docket. So I wanted to thank Chad, Michael Branch, and Nichebucks there, and Bank XRP, and of course, John Deaton for posting those. We got another Ripple partner making waves, this courtesy of Mike Manfield. Aeon, the next generation crypto payment framework, has officially introduced a new scan-to-pay feature in Brazil. So this is a Ripple partner, guys, and they're using Pix QR codes to complete purchases for their crypto assets. And Aeon automatically settles the payment to merchants in Brazil Real, so the BRL, via Pix, the nation's instant payment network. And this seamless integration allows Brazilian users to shop and pay at any merchant that supports these Pix QR codes. At checkout, they can select their preferred crypto and wallet, whether through direct crypto transfers, Aeon Wallet Balance, or popular payment options like Binance Wallet, BitGet Wallet, KuCoin Pay, or Bybit Pay, making crypto payments as simple and familiar as using Pix. Could you imagine if this was, if the world was as easy as this? I've always said, I don't know how many of you guys use the Exodus wallet or something similar. I always think to myself, wouldn't it just be great if merchants just accepted crypto and they had a QR code and you can just pop in the amount that you want to send to them, and they can, they'll accept many different currencies, and you can just take that specific currency and send it over to them, and that's how you pay. I think there are already definitely some places around the world where this is becoming a reality, or has been a reality for a while even. And now it sounds as though through Pix QR codes, this is becoming another option for Brazilian merchants and consumers. So Pix is Brazil's dominant payment method, embraced by more than 76% of the population and surpassing both cash and cards in popularity. And guys, Aeon, a Ripple partner, is making this a reality. So traditional crypto to fiat payment rails often rely on card networks like Visa and MasterCard, which impose steep foreign exchange markups and fees, sometimes reaching 15%. But in contrast, Ripple partner Aeon Pay leverages Pix to deliver much lower cost experiences with effective transaction costs at around 0.8% only, significantly reducing costs for users and merchants alike. So this is hopefully where we're going to see more crypto adoption going in the future. Of course, cryptocurrencies are going to become more prevalent because the reliance on fiat currencies are becoming less and less. This is peak US dollar endgame coming from High Vibe Assets here on Twitter, sponsored by Ripple XRP. XRP is bigger than you think. I wanted to play you guys a little bit of this clip of Jim Rickards speaking on the Daniela Cambone show. Okay, he talks, he gives us a bit of the history, and it's a longer clip. I'm going to try to interject maybe at certain points here, but gives us the history of the petrodollar, why fiat is on its way out, or at least becoming less and less prevalent. I mean, we're seeing it now with new technology. If we can pay with QR codes and cryptocurrencies, and this is just one example of this, why crypto is becoming more dominant, therefore making fiat less relevant. Listen to this.
So the dollar's going down. It has been going down for about 6 months. It's down against the euro, Swiss franc, other major currencies. That's just a fact.
The worst time since President Nixon.
Since 1973, and we all know what happened after that, which was the petrodollar accord in 1974. And that was involved in that in certain ways. So the dollar's going down. So here's what I would say. First of all, so from that, that's a fact, right? Like you say, you're entitled to your opinions, but you don't get your own facts. That's a fact. But what does it mean? So the narrative that's spun out of it is, this is the end of the dollar. People are getting out of the dollars. The end of the role of the dollar as reserve currency is the great reset. It's all nonsense. The dollar decline is being engineered by the Treasury. This is part of the Mar-a-Lago Accord that Steve Moran wrote about last November. If you're up for a 24-page...
On purpose.
On purpose, exactly. So now, when has this been done before? Twice. Richard Nixon, Henry Kissinger, Bill Simon, Jerry Parsky, and others engineered the decline of the dollar at the Smithsonian Accord in 1971, in December 1971. And then it played out over the following years. And, that's when gold took off. The Arabs were worried about it. And we engineered the petrodollar accord, which locked in the role of the dollar ever since. And the dollar's been up and down, but as the leading reserve currency that you need, it was a very simple concept, which is, hey, the whole world needs oil. So if you price oil in dollars, that means the whole world needs dollars.
So Versi's saying here that US dollar decline is actually being controlled. I'm just going to bring up the DXY here to show you guys. Okay, and this is the weekly. He was saying, when was he saying? 1970, 71? And in the 70s, you guys can see dollar did decline to historic lows, at least at that time, before it shot back up. Of course, during this time, gold did go up. So we do see that inverse relationship. Since then, since about 1985, when the dollar was at its highest, it did decline back down in the late 80s, and then it's just kind of been hovering up and down ever since. Well, Jim Rickards is saying the Mar-a-Lago Accord and Donald Trump, they're essentially doing the same thing, or at least trying to do the same thing.
But my point being, it's been done twice before. Ken Trump and Steve Moran and others in the White House, Scott Bessent, Secretary of the Treasury, pulled this off for the third time in 50 years. Well, my point is, it's a good question rhetorically, but that's what they're doing. So don't fight the Treasury on this. The dollar is going to go down more. It's going to stay down. And for people to say it has to bounce back, this is not driven by the market. This is being engineered by the Treasury. Well, what happened in the 1970s? Gold went up 2,700%. And one of your esteemed panelists, Frank Justra, made that point yesterday. So gold's going to go up a lot. It does it in stages. I would expect $4,000 an ounce by the end of this year, 2025, but much higher in the years to come. If you just took the two great... There were no gold bull markets before 1971 because the world was on a gold standard. Gold didn't go up or down. I always tell people, if you want to make money in gold, don't root for a gold standard because you can't make any money. But But from 71 to 1980, gold went up about well over 2,000%. From the other bull market, 1999 to 2011, rather, it went up about over 600%. So if you just take a simple average of those two bull markets, you would say that this has two things. This has years to run, and gold doubling is nice. I love it, but it's probably going to go up maybe 5 or 10 times. So you'll see gold in well over $10,000 in the not too distant future, but short run 4,000.
So gold at 2,000 in the not so distant future, but 4,000 in the long term. Gold will be 10,000 per ounce, says High Vibe Assets. But I mean, I think we'll probably have to wait for that. But let's say there's a new financial standard. And let's say the world starts using cryptocurrencies like XRP as that standard, as we've been purporting this entire time. An interesting concept here by Black Swan capitalist Verson. Gold held value for 5,000 years because it was scarce, neutral, and trusted. XRP mirrors these traits digitally, instantly transferable, and globally liquid. XRP is actually useful in the financial system, whereas gold was just kind of this, this thing that we all kind of agreed to had value, and we used it for a purpose, but XRP is actually going to be used in a real-world setting. Listen to this.
Why did they call XRP a stablecoin? That's my question. Why did they call XRP a stablecoin and not a stablecoin issued on XRP? You have to wonder, over time, is it going to be realized that, you know what? This is the stablecoin. Maybe all stablecoins are tied to it. So it's ultimately the stablecoin of all stablecoins. And effectively, if that does happen and come into fruition, even though I've believed that for many years and talked about it openly, what I think is going to happen, that in due time, it's going to be realized that in some way, form, or fashion, XRP is indeed the digital collateral that functions similar to physical gold. And I think that's the real agenda here behind the scenes, because it was the very same institutions that are saying, if we're going to have a new monetary system, we need collateral. And again, global liquidity is only as good as the collateral that backs it.
Very wise words here from Verson. XRP could be the stablecoin of all stablecoins. Now, he was referring to the World Bank, calling XRP and XLM stablecoins. And, we were scratching our head back then when they did that. But, it does make sense. If you think about it, if everything is tied to XRP as it was gold many years ago, maybe XRP will skyrocket in value, similar to how gold price skyrocketed eventually in the 1970s and again in the early 2000s. So guys, are we in for something big? Are we in for an XRP influx once it becomes part of a new financial system? It certainly is one theory. That's just my opinion. And for more opinions on where I think the market could go for this particular bull run, you can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. And thanks so much to everybody who has been supporting the channel by purchasing Working Money Channel merchandise. Link is in the description if you guys want to help, maybe support the channel in a different way. Every little bit counts. And I thank all of you guys for helping support the channel. So thanks so much. Again, link is in the description. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.